Hey guys, it's Layla from Ignite and I'm here with Johnny.
Hey guys.
And in today's video, we're going to be taking you through our advice for HSC trial preparation in English. We take you through how to manage your time, how to set goals and achieve them in the lead up to your trials. We take you through our go-to advice for comprehension, how to issue spot, how to go about memorizing techniques. Then we take you through essay drafting, adaptation and memorizing. And of course, we take you through the craft of writing.
Now this was a live recording at one of our workshops that we do, and these are exclusive and intensive holiday seminars that we run. You're going to see the live footage where we had a class of students with us. We basically are going to go through, in addition to what Layla said, we're going to go through how to schedule your study preparation from weeks 1 to week 6, assuming you have 6 weeks to work with before your exam. So whether you're watching this before trials or the actual HSC, this is going to be of incredible value for you. It's the first time Layla and I have done a live recording of this type where we really unpack all of the strategy that goes behind a Band 6 level of preparation before HSC English exams. We're looking at the grand scheme of your study strategy. We're not just looking at how you study for particular sections, but how that all pieces together in conjunction with other subjects that you have to prepare for as well. So we hope you enjoy. If you do, please like and subscribe and make sure to click the bell as well so you're notified of our future videos. Please do pass it on to any friends if you think it's of value, and strap in, enjoy, and we'll see you in there.
Thanks guys.
Clear on that? Now, the last thing with the craft of writing, I'll just give you a few minutes for direction on that. First of all, we know there's two components, right? There's the create component where you actually make a composition based on a question or stimulus. Everyone clear on that? Maybe not. If you're in year 11, it's similar to reading to write. You compose a piece of writing. It can be imaginative, persuasive, or discursive. You will get a choice in the HSC. Remember, unless your school makes it clear in the trial that they're going to modify that to make it specific, you'll get a choice.
But if you're doing Catholic trial, you should be fine. You'll get a choice.
That's right. So what do we mean by that? Choose the prescribed text that is, or that adopts a form that you prefer. So if you don't like writing persuasively or discursively, your school had to do at least 2 prescribed texts, right? Is everyone that clear with everyone? So usually those 2 are of a different form. We'll choose, if you like imaginative writing, if your school did a prescribed text on that, do that text. That's your text that you're going to focus on. You only have to really pick one. You'll notice that questions only ask you to kind of reproduce the style of at least one prescribed text from Module C. So anyway, that's the first part. You compose a piece of writing to a given question. The second part of the craft of writing task, right, which is, and these are kind of the mark allocations that you'll see. It's 20 marks overall, so same as comprehension, same as each essay. 10-10, that was last year for the advanced, 10-10. 12-8, very, very popular in internal assessments that we've seen. Anyone have a 12-8? Anyone had a craft assessment? Or you've had a reading to write? Yep, 12-8. Anyone, did you have a craft of writing assessment, you girls? No? Oh, you haven't had one yet? No. Okay, cool. So it would be something like this, and then very unlikely scenario 20-0, because that's in one of the sample papers that NESA put out, where there was no reflection. I think that's highly unlikely, because they're really wanting you to reflect on what you actually just did.
You might have an assignment like that though, if you haven't been examined yet internally prior to trials. A few assignments are like that, it's just the actual piece.
Just the piece, yeah, that's right. But I would say for trials and HSC, not saying it with 100% certainty, but very likely one of these 2, okay? There's your structures. Now you have to accommodate that for the timing accordingly, 20 to 25 minutes on the composition part, and 15 to 20 minutes on the reflection part, where you reflect on what you just did. Now you think, oh, I reflect on what I just did, so I can't prepare for that. Wrong, you can, right? You can prepare for it because you can have a draft composition and you can have a draft structure. You can know exactly how you're going to phrase things and maybe not phrase things, but structure and the purpose behind each sentence, right? Now, questions will often, I'll just show you a question here because I don't want to lose you on what we're actually talking about here. When you're asked to compose a piece of writing, let's say imaginative, you choose imaginative. This is a key one that you can prepare a draft for. Right? Choose a character, persona, or speaker from one prescribed text you have studied in Module C. Right? Now, I would always pick from Module C. The occasional question says, or Module A or B. Okay, bring in the other ones. But that's not guaranteed to be asked. That's definitely going to be in there. Express the thought processes of this character, persona, or speaker. What do you notice there? You actually have to stay pretty close to the text that you studied for this module. Yeah? Because you have to choose the character, persona, or speaker by exploring a moment of tension in the text. Right? So you're not just reproducing your own piece of writing for craft of writing and merely adopting the style with which the composer that you studied writes. You might have to stay quite close to what the text is about and who was in the text, right? But you have to do an alternative point of view. So in this one, that's the bit where they're getting you to come up with your own thing, an alternative point of view. But if you already prepared a draft, which was based on the character, persona, or speaker in the prescribed text, if you already had a draft that did that, and it captured a key event or concern in the text, then all you would have to do is just develop that from an alternative point of view, and that's what you do on the day. That's the adaptation phase. But everything else in here, I would say you should draft something in accordance with this particular. This is a good question to build a draft on, because it incorporates key elements from your text, and it forces you to stay close to your text.
But even if you didn't have that question and the question was broader, you could still use that as a basis for your piece. So it just covers you for all ground. Yeah.
Now this might be a bit vague for anyone in year 11.
Well, their assessment was very similar.
Very similar. Okay, so I'm assuming some basic level of knowledge of how the whole module works, because I don't want to lose. I'm speaking with some assumptions here. Does everyone kind of follow what I'm saying? Yeah, you know that there's two parts, and then you have to reproduce. What's the point of craft of writing? To basically write in a style similar to who you have studied. That's the point. So we're all clear on the point? Now, a lot of people struggle with the writing process. Anyone who struggles with actually drafting that composition? Anyone struggle with that? Yeah, that's tough. We'll end with a key tip on that. But the second part will then be justify the creative decisions that you have made. Yeah, and that's you can prepare a structure there, a short introduction, 1 to 2 sentences. Just note this down, I don't know if I've got it on here. And then 2 body paragraphs that focus on one stylistic feature each. Okay, so what's one stylistic element, which is form, by the way. Style is form. So that might be I wrote in first person. That's an element of form. Or I used a particular type of imagery that the composer used, right? So each body paragraph focuses on a different stylistic element. And what you do in that is, in each of those body paragraphs, you show how the person you studied used a particular stylistic feature, the one that you identify in the topic sentence, and you give an example of how they used it and the effect of it, and then you get your example from the piece you just wrote and say what the effect of your use was, and it might be a different effect. Is that clear? You might also say that you didn't copy or emulate the stylistic feature exactly. So perhaps you studied how they used first person and you said, I departed from that. I wanted to retain the same effect, but I used third person. Right? So you actually can depart from what they did. You just need to show a conscious decision-making process in doing that. You need to make it clear to the marker. It's like, hey, I knew that they did first person and why they did it. I chose to actually depart from it for this reason. And then you give an example in that body paragraph. Does that make sense? And that's one, and then you replicate that for a different stylistic feature in the next body paragraph, and then a one-sentence conclusion to sum up how you've basically drawn from the prescribed text and to reproduce what you did, and make sure you mention the purpose of why you did it. Right? What was the purpose of using the stylistic feature that you absorbed from the composer? Okay. Now I'll just see if I've got any preparation tips. Oh yeah, there's here. I mean, we've kind of covered this, so yeah. This is a checklist for you as well. Okay, we'll send you this over, and you can read over this.
And there's practice questions for you to adapt to as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, if anyone wants to go more in depth into the craft of writing or the comprehension, we've got a thing on tomorrow if you want to come back in for that, which is longer time on each one, where you'll actually do practice papers and questions and stuff like that.
So today was more of an overview, a taster of some of the key elements of your preparation, but if you feel like you're really struggling, tomorrow is obviously more in depth with more writing exercises and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but one thing we'll go over more in detail tomorrow if you come, the craft of writing. If you're struggling to start a piece or like you don't know where to go in terms of building the draft, go back and look at the prescribed text that you're studying, that you're basing this piece off. And what I do is I start by just copying exactly a paragraph from their writing and I put it into my piece, right? This is just now at the moment, I'm the author, right? I sound exactly like the author. That's what it's meant to be, right? But obviously it's not putting context, it's not putting the context of the new question, right? So I basically copy paste a paragraph from the person you studied into your piece, and then read over it, and because you'll absorb the style that way, and then you start tweaking it to adapt to the new question or stimulus, and also to your own kind of envisaged piece. If you have an idea for what you want to write about, ideally you want to write about something that's close to what they were writing about, but not exactly the same. you're not just meant to reproduce word for word the piece, obviously. That's why you copy it, then you tweak it, and then you make sure it fits in with the rest of your piece. So you've obviously got your own voice, but you want the style to sound very similar. So what's a logical starting point? Just copy them exactly, and then work from there in tweaking and redeveloping it. And at least that way you can see the sentence structures and the style there, and you'll mirror that very closely.
Yeah, because you're trying to emulate them anyway, so that's a good way of starting to emulate.
It's a good starting point if you're stuck. That's what I'm saying, okay? I'm not saying to copy them word for word in the end. I'm saying you have to tweak it and synchronize it. But that's a tip for you guys if you're struggling to write. Okay, well, look, I hope that helps. As we said, tomorrow we've got the comprehension, the craft, if you want to come in. If you haven't booked, just because it's tomorrow, you can use that. It's $50 discount for anyone who comes from this point if you use the code IGNITE50 at the checkout on the Eventbrite thing. But that's the link if you need it. Anyway, Wednesday we're doing the Crucible for anyone who wants to come to that. We've got a 1984 on Wednesday as well, so we'll be in like 2 different rooms. And Tempest Hagseed, anyone doing Tempest Hagseed? If you're doing that, you might enjoy that. And then T.S. Eliot is on the 14th. Okay, and if you bring friends, by the way, we're just doing a thing where you get $25 off each friend who comes to the thing. So, hope you enjoyed, guys. Any questions before we wrap up?
We'll email you guys the slides. Remind your parents if they haven't done so already to email us your bank details so we can refund the $20 deposit for today. And otherwise, if you have any questions, please feel free to email. We also offer a marking service if you want us to look over your essays. We have that as well.
You can do those.
Feedback.
Big offer. Yeah. Okay. And does anyone have any questions before we completely wrap up? Do you feel good about like a schedule going forward? The mindset. Hopefully, that's the main thing we wanted you to get from today was the right mindset to go in. You don't want to go in blind to preparing for these. So hopefully you've got a good vision now. You know how to approach each section.
Yeah, some skills to apply, frameworks, and then of course if you want to refine them further, there's the other workshops.
We've got the other ones, and then another resource out there. We've got resources on our website, ignitehsc.com.au, if you want text-specific, in-depth resources, like with all the analysis and whatnot. And then we've got a free content on our YouTube, Ignite HSC. And also, if you could please do us a favour, follow us on Instagram. Some of you might already be on it, but it's Ignite HSC, I think it is. Ignite HSC is the Instagram if you want to follow. Okay, thank you very much for coming, and hope you enjoyed, and good luck if we don't see you again.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you do like the content, subscribe to our channel and we'll have more videos coming your way.
That's right, guys. Thanks for watching, and please make sure you check out our online resource database. We've had a team of state rank achievers and heads of English put these together for you, covering everything from essay structures and examples all the way through to craft of writing and comprehension skills. So check them out at ignitehsc.com.au, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.